you'll notice this keyword transcended will be in all three of these. So they're doing the typical drip feeding, like in hamsters over here. I mean, we're going to eat it up, dude, right? We're going to eat it up.
New keyword?
Yeah.
Anytime we get a new keyword?
What does that mean? What does that mean, boys?
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to episode 34 of Big Deck Energy. Joined with me today is Tyler Barrett and Bailey Hilton. We are missing Ben Clifford. He is stuck in the lab, but we are going to be going over our Team Sealed event that we had just this past weekend and some spoilers that just got released. We just got some Mistveil spoilers and a Kayo armory deck spoilers.
Yeah. We got pretty lucky with these recent ones because they just dropped right before we recorded. So
I'm glad we waited a little bit.
Yeah.
But as well as a mailbag episode, so we're going to be going over some listener questions and covering those and answering those. You can always send more questions in the Discord. It's always in the show notes, so check that out in the show notes. But why don't we dive right into it, gents? How's your guys' weeks in cards and fab?
Well, we did our Team Sealed. It was 2/3 Team BDE for our team. Me and Josh were able to make it this week. Bailey, you had work, right?
Unfortunately, I had to work.
You did make an appearance, though, there at the end just to say hello.
Yeah, I made a little celebrity appeance.
Yeah, I don't think anyone recognized you without your beard. You shaved it off, and we were all just had to do a double take there.
Went naked.
Yeah.
It's been a lot of double takes about it. It's been a long time since I've been clean shaven.
Yeah, I told my wife after I saw you with your beard shaved after never seeing it before, because I met you with a beard and you've had a beard this whole time. I was like, yeah, babe, I think I'll never do it. I don't think you'll ever see me without a beard.
Oh, I see how it is.
No, I was like, oh my God, is that Bailey? I just couldn't.
Yeah. When we were
it was shocking.
There's a reason I don't do it often, but I had some stuff happening this week. Figured it was, clean up a little bit.
Sure. Yeah.
When we were ripping, we do live rips at Legends on Main now, so check out the TikTok there at Legends on Main. We rip.
You're gonna have to start linking that in
anything from Pokemon to Flesh and Blood to Lorcana. Hopefully some
cards.
Star Wars, sports cards,
too, yeah.
Anything that.
Didn't you guys rip some UFC cards?
We did.
Yeah, you guys ripped some UFC
for David Harding. It was quite the rip too.
Yeah.
Ripped him a decent one. Tom Askren.
Ben Askren, or was it Tom Aspinall?
Tom Aspinall.
Yeah,
you're
that's
right.
You're
heavyweight.
Right.
Yeah, check that out. You can like and follow any of those lives. Much appreciated. But Bailey came in, and I turned around. I snapped my head back. I was like, "What the? Why'd you shave?"
Yeah.
Was just lost in the sauce when he walked in at first, but. No, so definitely check that out. But the Team Sealed, I know, Bailey, do you have some questions about it at all, or that you want to ask us?
I think the biggest one for me is is there a clear top performer, hero wise? I feel like I know the answer to this, but
yeah,
I just want to hear your perspective on it.
Well, I definitely think Kayo does the scariest thing, but also if you just have a really good deck, I think Kasai's probably scarier because she can do the long game and block correctly and still have these really big value turns and stuff. One of our players did play Victor though. Otherwise, it was all Betsy. I think we had 4 teams total.
Oh, really?
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. We had 4 teams. Teams of 3. We all opened 4 packs apiece. We shared a card pool, and we had to make 30 card minimums, 40 card maximums. We did kind of the strategy that we initially thought would be closer to 30 decks, and then have the Guardian deck around 40. But Josh ended up just playing closer to 40. Didn't you have like 36
I think
or
I played
7?
39, actually.
39, Jesus.
39.
Mm-hmm.
Holy.
And I mean, you did better than me that day. So.
I went 3-0 in the team sealed on Kasai.
Oh, nice.
And I actually ended up ripping a parry blade. That's why I had 39, not 40.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, I thought about using it at times, but, honestly, the way to go in team sealed, especially sealed and limited in general, is definitely 2 sabers, just because you're able to push so much more damage. If you use that block on parry blade, it gets scary if you're only able to use one. Yeah,
right? It's blade breaker.
I was gonna say, how often did you end up using the block on parry blade?
Never.
You didn't
used
even bring it in, did
I
you?
used it once.
You did?
Against a mirror match into Olympia, and I was so scared to even block with it. I was like, if I block with it, I'd lose a weapon. And
it would have to be
screwed.
like at the end of the game when you like are forced to do it,
Yep.
or that last little ditch effort. And it
then-
actually might get you there sometimes.
I mean, I will say in the last game that I played, I had 2 warrior mirrors, so I played against an Olympia in the round 1. Actually, 3 warrior mirrors. I played 3 warriors. I played Amy on Olympia. I played Sean on Kasai, and then I played Carter on Kasai. So I played all warriors all day.
So we picked seat A wrong. We were like thinking about who's A, B, and C.
Yeah.
If we put the warrior on A, or are we gonna be getting matched up into?
into
Everyone just put their warriors on A apparently.
it was yeah. I mean, not bad, because most of the time I will say I can typically squeak out a warrior win against another warrior. I do know warrior pretty well, but it was scary using that parry blade for the first game, and the rest of them I was like,
Yeah, it took you one game to just be like, I don't think so.
I don't think I need it. And that we concluded that it would maybe be the mirror that I used it in, and it was a bad choice.
Mm-hmm.
It was definitely a bad choice. But
It seemed like all of our decks were very strong, and I think
Drew ended up having a cast bones in his KO deck.
I don't
Like-
know. We punted.
Oh,
We punted
really?
in the round in round 1. It was really cool. We got to help each other. We just kind of both like knuckleheadedly like thought his armor blocked for 1, and we realized afterwards it blocked for 2. Like right at the end of the game when it really mattered, and having it, if we just throw the armor at our opponent, and it allows us to keep that extra card, which was like a pump. I think it was Bonebreaker Bellow or something, which totally just changes the turn after that.
Was he able to take advantage of the cast bones
He
most
did
of the
play
time?
it once, and he whiffed. Well, I say whiff, but he just didn't get the agility. I think he revealed 5, so he got the 5 mites off of it. That was the only time I got to see him play it.
That's still
Round 2 he had a bye because we played
especially in like a sealed deck. 5 mites is a lot.
Yeah, seemed like every team had a KO. It was the KO
Absolutely.
was the when you have that many cards, like unless you maybe pull the Reinar special
No
head
Fear.
or well no
Show No Fear.
Yeah, the show no mercy, I think, isn't that
Show
what
No
it's-
Mercy,
yeah.
you're right,
No
you're
fear
right.
was actually Nathan played that card against me, and it was
Really?
it was like awkwardly good. In the turn he played it against me, I was like, no way. Lost to that brute, beat Sean, and lost to Carter's brother, actually one of our new players.
Tanner. You lost it. Or 1 against Tanner.
Oh, sorry, it was Tanner. I didn't play
Yep,
Sean.
yep.
Yeah, you're right.
But no, that brute deck was humming when I was watching from the side when Carter and I were playing in that third game. I mean, he was at, 7 life, I think, when you were at 3 or something.
Yeah.
I just looked over and I went, uh-oh. It's like, if you get that much of a life deficit, especially in limited or sealed against KO, it's almost chalk it up for a loss. It's tough to come back.
Yeah, it seemed like pretty much every deck was like really strong. You had kind of everything you needed, you know. The fun thing is kind of like the vigor girth and these cards that care about vigor tokens and care about might tokens. Like you can share them with your team. I kind of realize this middle of the way, but like if you're playing the Guardian, whoever's playing the Guardian, you just give them the vigor girth because that Guardian's probably making vigors, and then you give the person the might one that's playing the brute,
Playing the brute, and then you give agility to the warrior. I mean,
yeah. So that was kind of
yeah.
cool. The team, like the team aspect was very fun. I highly recommend anyone out there that hasn't done it or that like runs the tournaments at their shop or just try to get the TOs to like try this out.
So I know we've done team sealed with Aria in the past. Do you recommend, Ty, doing team sealed in heavy hitters over Aria? Just because of the dual class cards, you're able to share a lot more cards with your team.
I think, yeah, I mean, Aria will always have like a special place in my heart. I love that set. I actually love the sealed and
the elements definitely help with that for sure. Don't get me wrong, but
I love the whole limited environment with Aria. I love that set.
Oh, dude, that whole limited was so fun in Tales.
Yeah, it got a bad rap. Like I don't know, like Lexi. A lot of people said Lexi was kind of unplayable. But I actually drafted a couple Lexi decks that were pretty sweet. A lot of times it would just be wide open. You'd get all the good arrows you need. You'd be like the only Lexi in a draft pod sometimes.
I know you
ended up on like old him most of the time.
Yeah, I mean I did play a lot of old him in limited too. Like
I know
a lot of
you
the
played
piles.
Lexi Bailey, right? In our team sealed? When it was you, Farber.
No, I was on old him.
No, Farber was on old him.
Maybe I was on Lexi. I think, yeah, I was on that. I definitely went more of like a lightning focused Lexi for there. Just ice was so much harder in sealed to try to like get anything going.
Yeah, I kind of going back to Josh's question though, like I think heavy hitters is just a better format overall. So like,
the fact that you get two heroes per player that they get to choose and kind of build their deck around, makes a big difference than just having one hero.
Yeah, gives you a lot more options. The 6 hero thing is really something that's like, I don't know. I think we get a little bit spoiled when that happens, and everyone, they'll add the characters like Reinar or they added Katsu and Benji in Outsiders, right? Where they're giving us basically just reprints, but the 6 hero thing seems to really help. I think the limited environment,
really
the sealed in the drafts. I know we have a pretty good question about sealed later on for our mailbag, with the new changes to sealed coming. But yeah, like I said, highly recommend it. Shout out to Nathan, brought a couple guys from the city. That team won. They ended up taking it down. So, congrats to those guys. He took a really funny picture with the little first place trophy that Steve had up there. I don't know if you saw
the Dragon Shield first place trophy. I remember him talking about like, oh, I'm going to take a picture.
I get this trophy, right? It's like, no. But yeah, it was fun. I played Betsy, had a good deck, a lot of big bops. Lost most of my games. I think I won like one
You
game.
had quite a few of those colossal attacks too that were.
The thing
did they play an effect?
Okay,
at
so
all?
the only red cost that I played that was over 3 was the Smash Reality, I think, which was it's like the 9 damage one, and I think it cost 5.
Okay.
Any other red attack was always 3s. Like you kind of have to like build the deck that way. If you get too many, like four costs and up, you just run into the issue where you can never get the clean like 2 card 7, right? And that's kind of what you're shooting for, I think, in Guardian in this format. But yeah, the Smack, I want to say Smack Reality or Smash Reality. It's the 5 for 9. That's the only one I played, and it was clunky. Like it was the one time I could have played it. I took too much damage against Nathan.
I think you also had a few times I looked over and you had just chunked hands with reds. I think you showed.
I didn't have enough blues. I needed like 2 or 3 more blues, I think, in my deck.
Yep.
And our generic pile was pretty bad. I suppose I could have just like thrown some like
it was rough
blue trade-ins or something.
I had one for you.
I know I didn't put it in there. I could have, I guess. Just seems like such a bad card.
I know. Well, it's just it's a 1 attack.
Yeah, I would be blocking or pitching with it, though.
So it's like end game, you're maybe throwing what? A trade in?
No, I should have. Looking back, I should have. I was already at like 39, though. Maybe I just cut some reds and just like.
Did that lunging press that we give you ever help at all?
I didn't even put it in the deck. What? No. And I left Ripple Away out. Remember I pulled the Ripple Away and I thought it was part of the expansion set? No, I just like thought it was part of the expansion set because I pulled the judge, jury, and pulled that, and then like.
Oh, is it?
And then I just forgot to put it in when Nathan's like, no, it's part of the set. I'm like, oh, sweet. It just never made the list. So.
I will say, my Kasai deck
I
was.
think
was
I
pretty
kind of
cracked.
just thought it was part of the
Your Kasai
expansion
deck was
slots
very
too.
Yeah. When I pulled it, the art made me think like.
It's different.
It
just
looks
different.
expansion
Yeah.
slot.
And
Yes,
right after
like-
pulling Judge Jury too, both of those arts are very distinct. And like I pulled Judge Jury, I'm like, oh yeah, that's it. Definitely an expansion slot.
Yeah.
Sweet. I need this for my collection anyways.
I will say,
And then I pulled
We're gonna
Rebel
throw the
after.
judge, jury in your Betsy.
No.
I will say the one card that was low key a house in my limited Kasai was actually Standing Order. Because most of the time I had an agility token, was able to just get rid of a card in Arsenal, play it for 0 for 6, and then able to swing another with an agility token, giving it go again, and then swing another sword for another 5.
That's actually crazy.
It was
Like
quite
the 0
good.
for 6 with go again is
It
like.
was nuts.
Yeah.
It was honestly great because I would just throw like a crap card into my arsenal and
Yeah.
it didn't really matter, and I was able to just cycle it out and throw 11 damage back at somebody
Yep.
when they're throwing like 8 at me. So it's like the value's there. I'm pushing 3 more damage than them, and I'm also still able to put a card in arsenal after the turn to recycle a card in arsenal. That's way better than the card that I had. So I don't know. I mean, I will say Standing Order kind of was a house, but I think, like you were saying, Ty, most of our decks were pretty cracked in our group.
That's speaking of Standing Order. Have you been experimenting with that in Teklo at all lately,
Yeah.
or like have you fully made the substitution?
Yep. So I was at 3
Okay.
copies. I think I'm down to 2, and then especially with Dromai rotating here, we can talk a little bit about that later too.
Yeah,
I just think
But,
Scar might be better for you after Dromai leaves.
No, I think
we've been kind of like going back and forth on
think
that one.
I think I cut that card just
For a while.
entirely and opened it up for like more, I don't know, Kano hate somehow maybe, or, yeah. Once Dromai leaves, well, I guess there's an argument that you keep him in there for the Angels because, and I guess Enigma, who knows what she's doing. I don't know. She doesn't look like she's going to be making.
Well, just deal 4 damage,
allies.
go again. Like that's pretty nuts. Not gonna lie, you 4 free go again because you're gonna be less life.
Yes.
Most of the time of that.
But it's just vanilla damage. Like any attack I'm throwing at the end of the game, because I'm not attacking until the end of the game when I hit that second cycle or I transform, and I'm usually doing, if it all lines up perfectly, it all happens kind of at the same time, or you can time it that way where, and then when you actually start like attacking, you have incredible on hits that are just over 8. All your attacks are over 8. So when I'm playing just like a Scar for Scar at face, like the utility in that card was always just a dragon. It was to take out the Miragais, to take out
Kylorians.
all of the angels. Basically, I can just like straight at the angel for
4.
it's basically just one card. I don't have to keep a card to play it, right? It's just a 0 for 4. I can kill any of the allies that are basically relevant. The go again on it never really was like relevant because in the games against Dromai and Prism, you're playing defense until you're just not at the end. So you're basically just pop as much as you can, and then like
I guess ceiling,
shooting gun or like sending one attack.
I guess
at a
ceiling would
dragon.
be if you saved them 10 game. We're able to play
Yeah.
a Scar for a Scar, then one of your tanks for 3.
The standing order, the utility in standing order though is the thing I love about it too, because it's a popper sometimes, dude. Like you just arsenal shitty blues when you have them in the deck and you feel fine because you're just happy to send it to the bottom.
That's the other good thing about that card is that it's not discard it, it's send it to the bottom. So it's not like you're getting rid of a card to be able to do it, like rally the rear guard, or you're discarding.
Yeah.
You're just sending it to the bottom like sync. So the on rate value is there.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah. How did we get on? Oh no, you pulled standing order. You were
Yep.
playing it in your
Yep.
deck.
Yep.
Right.
Yeah, I didn't mean to like derail it.
No,
into just tech
you're
talk,
good, man.
but-
You're good. We need some derails. We don't have much news. We did just we can move on to the spoilers
Yeah.
here, so we can
Well,
get onto that here
To
in a second,
conclude Team Sealed, we recommend it to anyone out there. Highly recommended to play it at your LGS for an armory. It's super fun and heavy hitters. I think the dual class cards with the 6 heroes makes a huge difference in the sets when you're doing the Team Sealed. The variety that you get of heroes is just amazing, super fun. But definitely when you're picking your teams, kind of have somebody that knows what they're doing around Brute, Guardian, obviously Brute, Guardian, Warrior because they're in the set, but just like strategically do it, you know?
Yeah, that's kind of what we did.
Yeah.
You know, you were on Warrior for sure, like out, you know, and then with Guardians, I know Drew plays some Guardian too.
Drew plays Victor quite a bit.
I don't think we were gonna play Victor regardless. I mean, Betsy's
Unless you rip a Golden Sun, not
true.
recommended.
The hats, we didn't get any of the hats, which sucks.
Yeah, we didn't get one
I
specialization.
know. I look at some of these teams.
Really?
Like, geez,
Not
we have
one.
2 hats and shit. You know, 2 of the 3 of them.
We had a Cast Bones, Standing Order, and Ripple Away for our Majestics. Which, I mean, yeah, we ripped some decent Majestics for our decks, but at the same time, like, seeing, like, Shift the Tides of Battle for Warrior, or Big Bet for Betsy, or... I mean, I know Drew ripped Cast Bones, which is great in KO. Don't get me wrong, but in Sealed, when you have to run some of those pumps in KO, it's I don't know how I feel about
The
it.
Ripple Away, I'm sad I didn't get to actually put it in the deck and try it. I've been pretty impressed with that card on Talishar, just testing it the little bit I have for PQ season in Teklo. Not to go on another like rabbit hole, but I swear, man, like there'll be some windows where that card is just awesome, and like. Replacing a card, like I said last week about, I replaced Blue Heavy Artillery with just 3 Ripple Aways. And it's a card that I can like cut when I'm like looking for blues to cut to make room for like Warmongers and stuff like that too. So, yeah, that card is fucking awesome. Anytime I see a Teklo on Helishar, I'll go and spectate just to see like what they're dealing with, look in their discard.
Their deck list
try
and
to
stuff like that.
see what they're playing, and if I see any like red sentries, I'm always like, yeah, okay, I'll get out of this one. They don't have it figured out yet. You got to cut the red sentries, right? But dude, like, I even saw a guy with Rusted Relic the other day. He had all blues. He had a Rusted Relic against the Kano. He had like, I was like, oh shit.
He knows what's up.
Yeah, he knows what's up, dude. I was like, let's go, Rusted Relic for the win. No, you still die in that game. You still die in that match, but it helps and it makes it fun. It makes it like a cool match. You just get pitch stacked usually, but.
But
Yeah.
why don't we dive right into these spoilers that we've gotten from the KO deck and part the Mistveil?
Yeah, that chess piece from the KO deck looks nuts. I understand now why they had to ban. What was it?
Crown of Seeds?
Berserk.
Berserk.
One, yeah, Berserk. It just lets you like draw and yeah.
Yep. So here, I'll read the chest.
Yeah.
Unless, do you have it pulled up, Bailey? You can just go ahead and read it if you.
I don't have that one pulled up.
All right, Bailey. You didn't pull that shit up this time, but that's all right.
I was still looking at the 3 from here. It is. It's the Savage Sash. Destroy this as an action. Attack action cards with 6 or more power. Cost you 1 resource less to play this turn. Go again. And it's a 2-block temper.
Crazy. I mean, this thing is.
Which it's nuts.
This thing is crazy.
This is the mainstay warrior brute chest that is in every brute deck, I would almost say. I mean, you're not going to see a brute walking around with a tunic on anymore.
Yep. The biggest thing I see about this, and the biggest red flag I see, is this feels a lot like Listening 2.0.
Yeah.
And, thinking back to that and kind of like the discourse in the community about that, I didn't think they would do something like that again. But they're like, fucking, we're going to send it and we're going to put a good card in this. Because this card could easily be a $30, $40 card, just like Listening.
Well, here's the thing.
Yeah.
With
some legendaries are that price,
new players trying to get into the game, you have to give a good hero that's in the meta right now something good for somebody to be able to go to an armory event and contest with some of these bigger decks.
Yep.
This does that.
I agree.
In itself.
No, I agree with you. It's just it's surprising.
I get
to me.
the point behind it, but like, how many of these are just going to be snatched up by the competitive level players, especially the ones that are on Brute right now, purely for this card?
Well, yeah, every one of them will have to get it.
Yeah,
right?
like this is it's essentially a must-have for any like competitive Brute deck.
Does the block make it better than Tunic? Because it does kind of a Tunic effect where like you probably get 2 resources out of it. On a good turn, you'll get 3 resources out of it.
Well,
On like a crazy pop-off Blood Rush turn, you might attack 3 times, and then
you get your temper, right?
Well, yeah,
so
that's what I'm at.
Block once.
Well, like in a game generally,
2.
right? If you get like if you get 3 resources off a tunic, it's considered like freaking insane, right? You get like a whole card off it or whatever. And this card can do that, so it has like the ceiling of tunic. Obviously in the longer games, tunic does more work, but like the temper and the block 2 on this might just make this like actually like brute players will just actually play this over tunic, you know?
Well, if you think about it too, on your Blood Rush Bellow turns, if you're able to pitch stack for late game pretty well,
Set up your wild rides.
set up your wild ride, your pulpings,
Yep.
with I guess Intimidate, right? All those cards cost 2.
Mm-hmm. So like
it
1 blue
drops them to 1.
Imagine 1 blue.
1 blue to play all 3 of these cards.
God, just
It's gross.
Yeah.
just picturing it line up like that is just wild.
That's plus 2 off of it. All of them come in for 6. That's 2 more damage on each of them. So that's 8 damage each, 24 damage a turn. Obviously, that's the ceiling. Don't get me wrong. But
Yeah, but that's a very high ceiling.
you can push, I would argue, probably about 18 damage in a turn for 3 resource. That's disgusting.
Yeah.
No,
I agree, man.
What other hero does that? Pushes 18 damage for 3 resource.
Well, I mean, for the right
There's
hero,
definitely others that do it.
Lexi can do that type of thing, you know.
Well, that's why she's banned.
Well, she could when she was,
yeah.
around.
That's true. Yeah, going back to my original point though, this is definitely going to be like an issue if maybe they put it in like the expansion slot or something with this new set with Mistveil.
It could be too.
Because then they can like make both people happy, and it's a $12 card at the end of the day.
Have they ever come out with a full?
They've come out with Majestic.
That's not legendary.
Well, that doesn't mean they won't. They'll do whatever the fuck they want.
True.
And if
it's their game. They do what they want. Don't get me wrong.
And that's kind of what I might have came off like.
I'm kind of surprised we haven't seen like glistening in expansion slots yet.
Yeah, they might not. Yeah, they might just never do that. It keeps classic battles always worth at least whatever the price of glistening is.
$30-$40.
And it's I think a couple different classic battles that have been given away at the shop I've won and just taken the glistening out and given the actual decks to people. That's happened twice now, I think. And you hear about that happening all the time.
Glistening is down to $20.
Oh, nice.
So I mean,
that's kind of weird with like the
it's somewhat valuable.
With like the uptick in Dories, or that's just Dawnblade.
Yeah, it's just Dawnblade.
Oh,
it's
right.
not Axis.
That like specifies
so
Dawnblade. Right.
You do have to play the Dawnblade build, but
yeah,
I mean, it just goes to show that they are trying to support some new players and trying to get them into armories to be able to play. Try to get some of those promos and stuff. But
there's another card revealed with it. Do you want to read that one, Josh? Did you see that one?
I did. If you want me to, I can. It's called Run Roughshod.
Roughshod, I think, right?
Is it Shod or Shod?
I think it's Shod.
Isn't that an A?
No,
Either way. It's a blue 3-pitch, 1 cost, 5 damage, 3 block. Play this only if you've discarded a card with 6 or more damage this turn.
This is kind of crazy for the cost on it. 'Cause, the red is probably going to be a 7, right?
If they run rainbow in it.
Oh, they will. This looks like a rainbow.
You think they're gonna? It's a rare, so it seems like it should be a rainbow.
So that means this is just a 1 for 7 that has like that little restriction of discarding, which
if
dude,
you
do that so much now.
If you have that turn with the Blood Rush Bellow turn and the chest, it's free.
There you go.
Free 7.
Yeah, there you go, dude. This seems just like a sweet kind of auto include, honestly. It's a 6 in KO. Maybe it's too restrictive. I don't know. But when I read this card, I was like, holy shit, there's like the stats are actually really good on this card.
Oh,
like
phenomenal.
a 1 for 7? What?
Phenomenal.
It's also one of the few like
Block
6
3
power 3 blocks that they get.
Yeah.
Well, we don't actually know. Yeah, we don't actually know if we're getting a red or yellow, but
Yeah, but even still, that blue, like I think at minimum KO runs it.
Still has that brute variance where it's you have to discard a card, but that is very capable in brutes.
Is it?
You
I
know,
didn't read it very closely. Is it discard at random, or is it just?
just
Oh, it doesn't discard on
Just
its
discard.
own. It's okay. It's not. It doesn't have like a discard
So if
though.
you have the
Okay.
agile windup where you can discard for instant to gain the agility token, it still gets the you can play it.
For 1 blue, you go claw into red run roughshod for
For
three, 3 and then
Yeah.
7. You know,
Would it? Yeah,
pretty
10?
good.
For 10.
Yeah, it's pretty good. I mean, the only one cost they have right now is what is it? Is it pack or Savage Feast or?
Yeah, and you have to discard at
It's-
random.
yeah.
Yeah, you draw a card though with it, right, or something.
Maybe. I don't
Were
know.
you with Savage Feast? I don't actually know many of the brute cards.
And where's Cliff? God damn it, Cliff.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah,
I'll
for
look it
real.
up. I'll pull that shit up. I think it is at random.
But you like draw one with it though, right? Like you.
I don't think you do.
Okay.
Savage Feats, red, 1 cost. As an additional cost to play Savage Feats, discard a card at random. If the discarded card is 6 or more, draw a card. If. It's got the if.
Yeah.
So it's not like you do. I mean, if you don't, you kind of screwed the pooch.
Yeah. Yeah. Still wondering if they're gonna give us like an E-Strike. A couple of the guys were talking with me this weekend, and E-Strike seems like a very
Interesting include.
well. It's a 6 in KO. It kind of being like modal. I think it teaches a new player like, oh, there's just I can do this, and this with this card, and it works better in this situation and versus this situation. You also get to put it in like any deck, right? It's just one of the better generics.
See, I agree with you, but I also don't agree with you.
If
on
it's going to
that
be
statement.
CC competitive level, like they're saying, or like armory level or whatever, you'd have to like give them.
See,
You'd have to give them.
They would
3,
have to
which
make. They would have to make.
would take some balls.
They would have to make the KO deck be almost $100 because
I think it's 40 to 50, right?
it's going to be 40 to 50. But I will say that Enlightened Strike right now is at $35.
So it's actually more
Is it?
expensive than we thought.
It is.
was
For
saying
the
like
Welcome to
$20
Wraith
forever.
Unlimited is at 35. The History Pack one is at 33.69.
Same damn.
Nice.
So, I mean, it is a good card. Don't get me wrong. Maybe if they throw one of them in there, they might throw one.
I
but
just don't see. Maybe you give him cast bones, right? You give him like 3 cast bones. That card's like a few dollars. Who cares?
I think
Blood Rushes would be kind of a weird one because it's like Welcome to Wraith, but you also like, if it's an armory level deck, you kind of need Blood Rushes.
Yeah, Cast Bones is only at 5. So I feel like they might throw a few Majestics
Maybe
in
that's
there,
it. Maybe
you
that's the answer. They gave us this sweet chess piece that's gonna be at least a $30 card, like Glistening, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then they just 3 cast bones, 3 blood rushes, all the good reds and blues, and you just make the deck list consistent and have all the 5, the blue 5s, and all the good reds, pulpings, and all that shit. And you have yourself an actual solid deck, if you do something like that. So
Yeah.
maybe you don't need E-Strikes, but it makes sense though. I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah. It's hard to decipher what they're actually going to do with this deck. I mean,
It's a touchy subject with it being like LGS exclusive, and
Yeah.
now there's like exclusive cards in it.
mm-hmm.
Well, so we don't know, like I said, but we might get this in the expansion slot.
Yeah.
You guys want to get to these other spoilers?
Let's do
Yeah,
it. but-
man.
All right, first we have 3 chakra cards. Pretty cool. All different types. In the art, Zen is in this one. And so this is a Mystic Ninja action called Wind Chakra. It's a 0 cost. It blocks for 3. The next Crouching Tiger you play this turn gets +3. If you've transcended this turn, instead it gets +5. Go again. Yeah, you'll notice this keyword transcended will be in all 3 of these. So they're doing the typical drip feeding, like little fucking hamsters over here. I mean, we're gonna eat it up, dude. Right? We're gonna eat it up.
New keyword.
Yeah.
Anytime we get a new keyword.
What does that mean? What does that mean, boys?
I want to know, dude. Maybe you got to use your chi to open your chakras.
My guess is just like cards will just say like transcend, and then for that turn you have transcended, right? So you have to like play them in a certain sequence, and then maybe there's like also a like ability with being transcended where like now your resources that you pitch are chi. So instead of a resource, you actually gain chi when you pitch a blue, right? Maybe that's how you.
Oh, maybe that's how you get chi. Yeah.
Like you have to transcend first, right? And maybe it's like maybe transcending is like an on hit. It's attached to an attack that you have to get through, or maybe even there's transcending that isn't an on hit that you just have to play, and then you pitch a blue afterwards to then gain the chi to go do the ability or whatever. But yeah, very cool.
I'm trying to think of like how they would actually like use the meaning transcend, because recently it's been demi-heroes. You transcend up, right? You
That's a
you
good
grow
point.
in power.
Yeah.
So what do they mean by transcend? Is it going to be drawing cards?
It's probably just like I bet it's just like a replacement effect for
I
the
think
turn.
it's just like a.
It's like an until end of turn effect where like I bet you like where if you just pitch cards now they're chi, you know.
Mm-hmm.
I mean it seems too easy to just be like a 0 for 4 on hit transcend go again.
Yeah.
You know, or
Yeah.
that's just like better scar for scar, I guess, but
Yeah.
you know, I mean you could put that in so many different things, maybe reactions and stuff for the assassin.
It's
Seems kind of weird to transcend in a reaction step. So.
right. That's what I mean. So it's like
Maybe we're just fucking
If
way
there's
off.
anything assassins need, it's more reactions.
maybe it's just like armory equipment that says you may transcend this phase or this action phase. You may grow power.
I can see it. Yeah. I get it's probably attached to maybe some armor pieces and just attacks and just different cards. You know.
Mm-hmm.
I'm guessing maybe they all probably do it in different ways, you know?
Yeah.
Zen might be like you do a combo and at the end of the combo you transcend. Maybe it's like a no, it does say this turn. Okay. So it is a
It is a
probably does
turn-based
check
thing.
every turn.
Yeah.
It's like a turn-based thing.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not until end of game. So I'm guessing it's probably it's not going to be like too hard to transcend. I wouldn't
no.
imagine.
No. I don't know, man.
Because these cards are like fine, like they're on rate just by themselves. But if you transcended, they become better.
Better. Yeah.
Do you guys want to read? One of you guys want to read Enigmas?
I can read Enigma. So it's Moon Chakra, and it's a 0 cost red instant. The next time you would be dealt damage this turn, prevent 3 of that damage. If you have transcended this turn, instead prevent 5.
This is just cool. I actually just love this.
It's
like
pretty good.
An instant that just prevents damage.
Seems like the illusionist class, trying to prevent and move damage in different places.
Yeah, tricky to hit, hard to hit. Is there? I'm trying to think of like instants that prevent damage. We have take it on the chin.
Like Oasis.
Right. No, I know. But just kind of like a 0 cost. This feels like a sigil to me, but like backwards, where it's like, like take it on the chin is a recent one where it's like a 0, prevent 2.
I'm trying to think if illusionist even has one.
Yeah, I know.
I mean, I know they do. I can't remember the name of it. It's like a blue that came out of a set.
Oasis might be like one of the only ones before these, like this and take it on the chin.
Yeah.
But just like instant prevention, just another way to get around different things in the game.
They've always been just defense reactions in that sense.
Sort of, yeah.
But
I mean, this is just a 0 block
transferred to instants.
Yeah.
I dig it.
Yeah, I agree.
I think it thematically makes sense, just like the illusionist way of like transferring damage in other ways, not hitting you, but being able to use it as in like, ward, you can block damage and
It is limited to just like the Mystic Illusionist.
because it does have the Mystic Illusionist. So it is classifying you have to be Mystic. So it can't be used in Prism.
Which
Can't be used in Dromai, but Dromai is going to be gone probably by then. So I'm not even going to bring that up. Well, I
love
did.
how we're all just like banking on Dromai being gone. Like, what if she's not?
If she gets the 990
she has to win
curse,
2.
if she gets the 990 curse, I'm going to be a little upset.
She has to win 2. Like, unless they all
Hey,
conspire.
I mean-
That's what we said about Briar.
I don't think so.
That's what I'm saying.
Briar had to win a big one.
Briar was
And
at
it was like a-
998 for like.
Briar had to win
months.
one of like we were at in the season where like we had just gotten done with whatever it was, PQs or RTNs, and it was only callings and battle hardens. So she had to win one of like the bigger tournaments, and then she didn't for months. Like a ProQuest awards 3 points, so Dromai has to literally like legit win 2 this in a few weeks here. And geez,
Yeah.
I mean if she doesn't, I mean. It'll be some conspiring going on in my opinion.
We know famously how good she is at converting, so
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, she did gain, obviously with the Pro Quest, it helped, or the Pro Tour, it helped. But she's at 348 over the heavy hitter season. So she did gain 148 before the Pro Tour. So I don't think it's not going to happen.
out of the realm of possibility.
No, it has to. I mean, there's hundreds of ProQuest that first weekend. There's hundreds. She has to win 2. Like the numbers say, like something terribly wrong happened. If she doesn't go that first weekend.
Yeah.
So yeah, we're all banking on it, but I mean, you can pretty much bank on it.
That will be our 8th hero in Living Legend.
Mm-hmm.
We're getting up there in the Living Legend heroes.
Yeah, man. It's starting to look funner and funner every day. I wish they would fix the restriction stuff, but
But I am excited to see a new illusionist come in. I like how they're kind of doing this as a hero kind of rotates out and they kind of fill in that spot.
they've been good about that. This Berserk band makes me think they're like planning KO. They're designing the KO replacement already, and they're like, ooh,
Yep.
can't really. They're giving us an Earth Brute.
Because how
Like
much did KO gain over the?
I don't even want to imagine.
No,
an
I
Earth Brute.
think they're predicting KO will just be one of like the top earners in points the next few months. Like this whole year is going to be KO's year to. I mean, he'll be close to fucking LLing at the end of the year, I bet.
KO and Kasai. I mean, KO gained 200, Kasai gained 220. So I mean, they're both just pushing right up that Living Legend board.
Yeah.
So.
Did you have the Tide Chakra up, Bailey? You want to read that one?
Yeah, I got it pulled up right here. I do have that shit pulled up, as a matter of fact. The last one is a Mystic Assassin attack reaction, Tide Chakra. It's a 1-cost, target assassin or mystic attack action card gets +3. If you've transcended this turn, instead it gets +5.
So a 1-for-5 attack react. Pretty fucking strong.
Like overpower.
Yeah, well, yeah, like we still don't know how easy it is to transcend. Like, how often is it going to be a 1-for-5?
Yep.
But even like, I don't know, 1-for-3 is kind of vanilla. Like, I think a lot of it depends on how easy it's going to be to get that transcendence.
Yeah. I bet you all 3 of them have a different way of doing it too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
See, my question is, the ones that we all got spoiled were promos. Do you think these are going to be... They only show the reds. Do you think these are going to be Majestics?
No.
You think these are going to be a rare with like a rainbow?
No, I bet you this is just going to be like, they're just going to be reds. You know how sometimes they'll have just like...
Only Majestics only have the one.
Aren't there like
there's a couple of rares and stuff that only have the one color.
Really?
Yeah.
Which one?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I'm mainly thinking of Draconic. There's no reason that these can't be yellow and blue, though. I bet they are just a full cycle.
That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah, you could be right.
I mean, most of these ones that have like a key word on it typically have a rainbow a blue, a yellow, and a red.
Mm-hmm.
Where it'd be like, give it plus. So the one would go for 3.
These being
the
cold
yellows would
foils
go
though on
2
the
for
on
4.
the reveal
That's what
it
I'm
says
saying.
cold foil.
That
So they're
they
gonna do
typically-
yellow and blues all in cold foil.
That's why I'm thinking it's a majestic, because they only come out with cold foil
Yeah.
stuff that's majestic.
I don't think this has majestic power level on it though.
Yeah.
When you think about like what a majestic does.
It all depends on what transcend actually means,
Mm-hmm.
or like what it does, how you do it,
Yeah.
the process of becoming transcended.
Mm-hmm.
If it's whether it's harder to do it or not.
If it's like a every turn thing, then maybe these are majestics,
Mm-hmm.
Because I mean, a 1 for 5 is really good
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
in the reaction step. I mean, yeah.
But
very good.
all of them are fairly low cost, fairly easy to seem like they can get off.
And then
What'd you say, Bailey? You
and
cut
then
out there.
there's 2 of the 3 are like 0 cost. Yeah, so
Yeah. Fairly easy to get off, all blocked for 3 or more, technically, because the illusionist is an instant prevention. But I think they're all mainstays in each of these decks. I don't see why you wouldn't run these in the new heroes.
Mm-hmm. Looking at this art, makes me just excited to open the set. A lot of cool colors. Cool meaning like, your blues and purples and shit. Also cool and, the other.
Feels
I
like the
am
opposite.
such a sucker, especially for like their cold foil blues and purples, man. Like,
This
I'm
feels,
not gonna lie.
This feels very much like the opposite of an uprising, because you got 2 blue heroes and 1 that's red. As in new. That'd be like more red, where Zen and
Doesn't New care about blues?
No. She does. I'm just saying like the color theme, because Phi and Dromai were red heroes, dealing with draconic, and Icelander was blue.
Mm-hmm.
So it feels like they're coming out kind of doing like a second almost uprising,
Yeah, a little bit.
where it's just flipped, where you get
Yeah.
2 heroes that are specific to a color almost, maybe. I feel like it's nice that this new the Tide one does hit just assassin attacks, not just mystic, because it does seem like they're dealing with a lot more contract and stealth cards in assassin.
Mm-hmm. If you notice the borders too,
No, stealth.
all the borders look
the
so
borders
fucking
look so good.
good. Yep. All right, boys, you want to
I
get to
don't know.
our...
I'll always like rave about the art in this game, though. They nail it every time.
Mm-hmm.
It's hard to miss.
You guys want to get into our questions?
Let's do it.
Yeah, let's answer some questions.
All right, we got quite a bit here. We got a couple from Dylan. I'll try to spread them out here. These were over March, right? These are March's questions for the month.
Should be March, yeah.
Dylan asks, what are your thoughts on sealed being changed to exactly 30 card decks? And I think they said they were going to up the packs too when they did that change. Do we know when that change is going to happen, by the way?
Probably a new set.
I don't think they had a date in the announcement.
You guys heard this, right? We're not
Yeah.
crazy.
Yeah,
I heard
yeah.
this. Yeah.
Yeah.
Probably a new set, I would say.
My initial thoughts is I've always been one that loves the flexibility of playing more and less cards in your sealed decks. So taking that away kind of sucks just in deck building. But it also just maybe offers a better sealed environment in that both decks will be maybe on more of a level playing field.
Mm-hmm.
If you're an experienced player and you come and just do a 40 card pile and you fatigue all your opponents, it's not going to be very hard for you, to do that.
Yeah.
No, I
When
mean,
they're
that-
also-
No,
That's
I
that was-
get where you're coming from, but at the same time, I think they're trying to at least do something to combat the, like you said, the 40 card piles. How often at a sealed, armory or tournament does it just come down to who had more cards in their deck?
Yeah, quite often actually. Yeah.
I mean, that's what I was going for in my last game in the team sealed.
Mhm.
I had 39. Carter had 33.
Mm-hmm.
And I literally looked at his deck and I saw like I think 4 or 5 cards left in his deck, and I was like, "How many cards you got left?" He's like 5. I
What
got
was
like
your
2
life at?
turns left. I had 3. He had 1, and I had 10 cards still left in deck. I was like,
Yeah,
I can
you're looking-
fatigue.
Yeah, you're looking pretty good.
Yeah, I can fatigue this pretty easily.
Yeah.
So I think they're trying to level the play, like you were saying, level the playing field for sealed. Just because of fatigue is a real menace in this game for sure. If you can fatigue people out, it is annoying as shit.
Yeah, for real. Who fatigues?
Me.
Both of you.
Yeah, both of us.
Both of you. I'm the guy that likes playing aggro, but I mean, when you have to switch up to a fatigue plan, and if you have more cards in deck, like that's what you got to do. But I think they're just trying to level out the playing field, so it's not.
Upping the packs too means like your decks are going to be a little more streamlined and probably a little more powerful.
Didn't they just switch to 4 though for sealed? Because you used
No,
to
that
get
was team
6.
sealed. That was team sealed.
Just team sealed.
Yeah,
you
we
get
had
4.
it listed at 6 packs, and then like someone in the Discord from in the Twin Cities Discord was like, I think it's like 4 actually for team sealed, just because your pools end up being just a little too cracked. I think if you get 18 packs to build 3
everyone had
decks.
6.
We did have cracked decks with just 4
Exactly.
each. So it's like if
Exactly.
you had 6, that'd be even more nuts.
Yeah,
'Cause
all the decks
that's-
would kind of look the same at that point. Because
Yeah.
like you could potentially go grab, the same few red and blue cards for each class. But yeah, I mean overall, I think I like it.
I like
It's
it.
gonna be good. It's gonna be good. For the game.
I don't mind it.
I will say, I've always been more of like a sealed and limited player for myself. I'm a better player when I play in sealed and limited and stuff like that, as in draft or sealed. But I don't know. I think it's good. It's giving everybody playable options. Maybe. I mean, you can kind of choose whoever you want and have a equal playing field.
Yep. Our next question comes from Dylan again. He asked, will Kano always be the boogeyman of CC? Well, until he LLs. He might be.
Yeah.
But yeah, he legitimately might be. I think it will always be a deck that like not many players will be on, but there's always the threat of one of those like madman showing up with Kano and they're like a fucking pro at it and they've had all the reps. And
We just had one show up in the top 8 at a pro tour, so you can never really put them out of the playing field.
And look at the numbers, right? At that PT, there's 18 of them in the room.
388.
I mean, almost 400 players. Yeah, that's crazy. And like, he will be a menace if you don't prepare for him. I have found that like if you play enough against Kano and you know what to like be blocking or ABing, I should say, when to play your Oasis against certain spells. Obviously, you want to target their Ether Wildfire, but like their Ether Spindles are the one that they can like look at the top 5.
Opt.
Is that what? Yeah, that
yep.
one.
Aether
Yeah.
Spindle.
Sometimes you're forced to like Oasis
Aether
those
Flare
things.
even. I mean, if
That's
they're
a
able to
good
get
one.
an Aether Flare off into an Aether Wildfire, that just pumps Aether Wildfire up to 7.
Yeah.
It's quite nuts.
If you prepare for Kano, I don't think he's going to be much of a menace. I think like
You
he
just
just forces some decks to like. Some decks just can't properly answer him because of like the blue counts in the deck, right?
Yep.
And that's really where like I think the power in Kano lies, which is kind of weird because it all starts at deck construction, which is like kind of weird. Like you legitimately bring a deck that just says like, oh no, I beat your deck, 80% of the time. Sometimes that's what it feels like with Kano against certain decks.
See, even with that variance where you say like some decks hurt because they don't run enough blues, I feel like with Dromai they did a really good job because Dromai is very red line. But even though they don't run, what do they run? 6 blues tops.
Yeah. I think it's a race to like get the dragons versus like do they see the dragons or don't they?
Yeah.
And if they see the dragons, you can really fuck with Kano because they just don't have a way to get rid of them. So your turns become
Sap Singe and is like the one of the only ones.
Yep.
I think that helps Kano in that matchup.
Yep. The thing with Kano too, like sometimes they just whiff, man. Like
I would.
It's annoying for you to have AB3. I know, like, I try to like always start with AB3 in basically every list, just because like I will always respect Kano.
You have to.
Even like when I kind of knew there wasn't a Kano in the room that the first RTN, I kind of like did some like, I was looking around, like I didn't see any of the Kano players. I know Anthony was on Victor, so I was like, okay, well, he's the Kano player that I would, and I saw he was on Victor, and I was like, oh, it was like, I still respect a Kano and put him in the list just because I saw that there wasn't one doesn't mean that there's maybe not, and like I'm still gonna like have those spots for him just because. And sometimes it's not enough, man. Sometimes they just go over your AB3 and your Oasis. I had a double Oasis that they went over, like I told you guys, with multiple rusted
relics. If they're
relics
able to get a double Aether Wildfire setup with full blue grip
Yeah.
and full E-Pots, it's a scary time.
I don't think like any deck can really like shut that down.
No.
Even with perfect AP.
No.
Nope. They're still pushing 20-something to 30 damage in a turn. So.
Oh, I mean, Kanos have done like 50, 60. Like it's been nuts, some of the
But, I
turns
mean, the main goal is 30-something.
Yep. Yeah, that's true.
And if you have the double Aether, you're guaranteed to push 30-something damage. So,
I would say Dylan just pack some more AB, have a good plan. I know he beat a Kano with AB1 this last RTN season. So that's the other thing about it. If you have a deck like Katsu that can kind of hold up blues and still pressure and has go again, Dash is another one. Those decks just kind of feast on Kano. Like I was saying, there's like really good matchups for Kano, but it goes both ways. Fab is very much built on like matchups, and it does suck to tell a player, oh yeah, you ran into your bad matchup. You probably can't beat that guy. Like I feel like Victors are almost. I've lost to a couple, mind you, but I've said this multiple times. I feel like it's an auto loss for Victors against attack low. Like I've never felt threatened in those games, and the only time I've lost has been because like just things go incredibly wrong. But they're like I was saying, like there's just bad matchups like that, and if you're a bad matchup against Kano, it really feels bad when you sit down against a Kano.
Yep.
It's one of the worst feel bads I think in the game if your deck is bad against Kano.
the thing about Kano is like if you sit down across a Guardian, which is quite highly in the meta right now, as in Bravo,
It's really
and
good
Victor,
for Kano.
It's really good.
Oh yeah, they feast on all the decks that like have the huge attacks. They have all the blues, sure, but they have like AB3. They don't really go over that. They can still play Oasis. But Kano just sits there and chip damage. They can't really ever answer back. They can like hammer at most. Because if they're ever answering with a Spinal or a Crippling, they're paying all the blues that they need to hold up to have, defenses up. It's always been a notoriously bad matchup for Guardians.
I feel like
It's like an auto loss for Victor.
Oldhim crushed Kano when Oldhim was in the meta.
That might have been a different story though because of the Frost. I could see an Oldhim like being a lot better. It's still probably not good. I wouldn't imagine it's great. No Guardian wants to see a Kano.
I mean, that's when Icelander was in the meta too, and Icelander was just the better wizard, hands down.
That's a weird example though, where like even though like we were talking about your blue count really matters, like they have blues. It's just the way that their deck functions in that like they can't pressure Kano enough without going defenses down. That's the issue because like a lot of times Kano just gets the block for 3.
See, I feel like that's when they tech in their Anathos, and then they just swing for 6.
That's not enough to get there. Kano will sit there and pitch stack you and then kill you at the end of the game. Dude, I know that from experience because like my Tekla deck does about 6 per turn.
Yeah.
And that's like I just can never pressure them enough. They'll sit there and happily block me all game and
Makes sense.
pitch stack my
Makes
ass.
sense.
But yeah.
Long story short, he is a boogeyman.
He is a boogeyman, dude.
Yeah.
And he sucks for some decks, but you could say that kind of about every hero right now. They have bad matchups. It just so happens that Kano is, that for a lot of heroes,
Yeah.
This is a pretty good one, that pretty meaty subject we can get into. Zach, shout out to Zach. I know he's over there in New Zealand. He got to play his first game of Flesh and Blood, I think, a couple days ago.
Yep.
Over there.
For a hot minute.
All the way out yonder. So, yeah. Hope you had fun with that, Zach. He asked, What are your thoughts on players competing in multiple RTNs or pro quests after they have already qualified? The easy answer for me without, or kind of like my impulsive answer was like, and this is coming from one that does not qualify very much, if not at all. It sucks. It sucks.
It really does.
I wish there was a way that everyone could be happy, and I did give this some thought. I've been thinking about this one actually for a while now because I don't want to stop anyone from coming to play the game. And these pro quests and these RTNs are once a year. It's a big deal. You get to test yourself against the best in your area.
So fun to play in.
Yep. The tension and like the stakes. I don't want anyone to not be able to go there and test their mettle, right?
Yeah.
But like a lot of times what you see happen is the better players will get their, especially with this top 4 stuff, like they'll get their top 4. The next tournament, all 4 of those players will still be at the tournament, and half of them, maybe all of them, will then top 8 again. So now, they're. Go ahead, John.
The one when I read this question, it's hard because like, what do PTIs go for, if you have to, and you don't need a
like 5, 6.
That's your answer.
Well, hold on. At these RTNs, and this is actually worse. Actually, there's no PTI attached to these. The RTNs and the pro quests are event specific. So, the pro quest that I got the Dawn foil or the Dawn blade and we split. We weren't playing for a PTI at the end, which was another reason why I was kind of felt like, oh man, how do I miss this opportunity in taking this gold foil, because I'm not going to France. Yeah. And I knew if I were to win and he wanted to go, which he did, it's like, damn, I know I can't go. Like, I'm not going to France. And this isn't a PTI where I can bank it and save it for
something else.
Yeah, you can't do that with pro quests or RTNs, which makes it just playing for the gold foil at that point.
It's almost a guarantee, like in your area, is like a few of those guys are definitely going to those big events. So if they're magically managed to not hit it, you're still getting that, like, able to sell it, which is hard.
No, you can't transfer pro quests or RTNs. It's not transferable. It's not like a PTI. It's something totally different. Even if
really,
it's not. If you win and you are qualified already, nothing happens. I think it might pass down if you and the second place player, like if you won and second place player hasn't won, I think it might pass down. That's sense. That might be the only way. I'm not like for sure about that.
I think so.
Yeah, I've heard in the past that that's how it goes. The other thing too about it is like, if you have 4 players that like all qualify, right, and you're it's the same players that are at the top tables most of the times at these, right, good players, right? Don't you want to play against them and be able to say, oh, I beat the best players in my area to qualify? Yeah. That's part of it too. Like, it's the harsh part of it, but it's like, hey, do better, get good. Some of these players are fucking good. Why are they there?
You're going to see them at every top event. Mm-hmm. That's the thing. And those are the types of players that you're going to be playing at these big events. So it's like you have to be able to hold your own against these guys. Don't get me wrong. But it's like,
I think a good solution is top 8 happens, right? If you are playing against someone that is qualified that first round, you just qualify. You get to qualify. You still have to play them, but at that point, you know,
even
the
if
player
you lose,
that's there.
saying?
Yeah, even if you lose, if you're like that first round of top 8, if you're playing against someone that has already qualified for one of these events, it should just pass down automatically so that you can both play the game and you know you're playing for the gold foil at that point.
See, the thing about that too is like, it gets more people in your events. The event numbers will be way up. Mm-hmm. You'll have more players at these events. The numbers will go up. You'll have more eyes on events because the events are so big.
I wonder what happens if like 4 players top and they all top again. Like, I wonder what happens. Like in an RTN scenario, like, do they just eat up those 4 spots? You know, that sucks. Because if that's the case, that
that's
fucking
how it is.
That fucking blows.
That's how it is. That's
and And again, we're not like at these top tables like ever. So we're just some filthy casuals over here talking our shit. But like, I wish there was a way that would make both sides happy. And like I said, I don't really know where I sit with this because I get both sides, and I want to play against these players to say that I did my best and played my best, and it was enough, right?
Yep.
You don't want to be like, oh, we're gonna win this one because all of half of our meta is gone because they've all qualified already. That's why it makes me think like the passing down of invites seems fair, I guess, because it allows the players that have already qualified to still play for the gold foil because that's kind of why they're there anyways.
Yep.
And then it also removes that awkwardness of like maybe there's a guy there, never really like been in this position, never been to one of these big events. You've been to a bunch. And like, oh shit, I'm gonna crush this guy's dreams if I beat him. But you were also there to like win a gold foil, like, so it removes that whole awkwardness where like if you're qualified, you can just like shake your opponent's hand at the beginning of the game and say, congrats, you're going to Nats, But you still get to play a great game and play for this gold foil. That's still a trophy at the end of the day.
That's kind of I'm not saying Wes isn't a good player, but that's kind of like what happened to Wes almost. Where he went to the second Pro Quest and half the guys that already.
Oh no, he lost to the winner.
Yeah,
he lost to the winner in the first round of top 8.
But it's like Wes definitely could have been qualified technically.
He lost to the winner the prior week. Let me be clear. The person that our teammate lost to in the top 8 for that RTN
won the week before.
He won the draft the week before.
So Wes would have gotten an invite
if it were set up the way I'm talking. Yeah,
yes,
he would have.
Yeah.
So it's like, dude, I don't know. This is a tricky question.
Yeah,
it's you can't. The world doesn't make everybody happy. That's the thing. You wish you can, but you just can't. So it's really a fine line of like, do we really try to push to get more players in these big events? Or do we have it where the same people just qualify again? Not even qualify again, but just,
If they're eating up spots, I just feel like maybe that's just a big missed opportunity,
The more players,
because the tournaments would just be bigger. There'd be more players there.
More eyes on the events.
Not a bad thing.
If any other card game, let's say Magic, kind of tune in and they look and they go, wait, this card game had 800 players instead of 4. Like that's a big difference.
Yeah.
Big difference.
And I don't know if we're like talking that many numbers, but yeah, you're just saying hypothetically
the thing about it though is, are you going to have to run the tournament a day longer because of that amount of players?
No, there's so many like people that drop after O2ing and stuff that like you really whittle down after day 1.
Yeah, but Pablo Pintor's gone O2 on day 1 and crawled his way back.
100%. I'm just saying you lose.
Yeah, it does happen.
You lose about half the tournament after the first 3-4 rounds,
How many more side events are you going to have to run?
Yeah, that's true. I mean, it just requires more manpower. You are right. I just don't, I think it's worth it in the end. I think they have the ability to probably like figure it out if they're adding 60 to 70 players to that Pro Tour that maybe missed. Like, because what's the number? Like at the end of the day, what are we talking about? Like how many players missed out on the opportunity to qualify because of someone that has already qualified? It's more than 0, right? Well, fuck, Wes was 1.
Yeah,
Wes was 1.
We know 1. That's the thing.
Exactly. So I guess that number's probably pretty high. And yeah, having those players at PT is probably just, or at Nats this year is probably just better overall. I would imagine.
Yeah.
But again, I don't really want to answer this like definitively because it's hard, man. I don't want to stop anyone from playing the game.
It's a fine line, man. It really is.
I think everyone should have the opportunity. I think everyone should go and enjoy themselves and try their best. And at the end of the day, we're competing too. Like we are competing. This is a competition. So like the best players will rise to the top, and that's how it should be. So
it's a hard question.
There's no freebies. There's no freebies in Fab.
No, there isn't.
Unless you're Teklo V Victor.
That's what makes this question so hard.
Just kidding.
That's what makes this question hard, Zach. I really appreciate the very hard question that you asked us because it really is a fine line to conclude on. It's a fine line of like, do you really want more players? Is LSS capable of managing that many players at an event like that? you have to hire so much more people to work the events, and
I don't know if it's that many though. It's probably doable. I'd imagine it is.
you'd have to run a lot more side events because it's not like somebody's going to travel somewhere and drop O2 drop and just walk out.
You just have to have room is all it really is, man.
Yeah, it's a big
Those side events
area.
have a lot of empty tables sometimes.
Do they?
Yeah.
I mean, you've been to
Vegas
Nats before.
Vegas was like pretty filled up. Felt like that room was fucking popping. But yeah, they could figure it out, I'm sure, man. There's got to be a better way to do it than kind of we do have it now, because it is a big feel bad, and you don't want to stop players from playing at the same time. So
Yeah.
I don't know if we really answered Zach's question, but
It's a fine line, man. It really is.
hopefully we did our best. Yeah. We can go on to the next one. Tanner asks, this one is a little more, we'll be able to. Tanner asks, do you guys think chi will be like a tunic where you can only use it after so many turns? After these reveals, I don't think that's the way it is.
I was talking to Bailey about this a little bit earlier. Do you think they're going to come out with a legendary for the Mystic heroes that's like a tunic, where you can gain a chi after 3 turns?
Be interesting.
I think it's super plain design, and they wouldn't want to like totally mimic a tunic in that way. I think if they do that, if they mimic a once per turn counter, and then on 3 they do like Findle's winter tunic or Findle's summer tunic. They do this all the seasons, and they make it a different color. You know, they do like an actual Power Rangers fucking, Findle's spring tunic line. And make them all that way. Make them all work that way, but they just do it a little bit differently. I mean, imagine a winter tunic. Every turn, you tick it. On the 3rd turn, give your opponent a frostbite. Let's go. That's pretty good. You know, not sure
but
what
it's not a resource.
I can get
That's what I'm
behind
saying.
that.
I'm
I'm just thinking off the top of my head.
Yep. But
there's the winter tunic has to be something frostbite related.
I feel like they have to come out with a mystic equipment that gives you chi. Like it.
Well, I think chi. I think
makes
chi. You have
sense.
to be transcended for it. So like,
You think so?
I think so. It says transcend and all those like.
Yeah, but each hero's
if you've
ability,
transcended.
each hero's ability costs chi, and
I know.
it's not transcended.
Well, that implies you have to transcend to activate them. They have to transcend in the turn to even touch their ability. That's like why it's so clean. You just have to do something before their ability.
It sounds harsh.
It sounds like fusing.
Because every other hero,
Sounds like fusing.
Every other hero in the game gets to use their ability.
Yeah. Not every time.
I don't think that's.
yeah.
Well, I mean, it's capable.
Dash uses it one time.
Well, then Dash
The whole
is
game.
vanilla.
It's one time, dude.
That it's a strong vanilla dash. Like
I mean, we'll see.
ability. Don't get me wrong, but
We'll see. I think giving resources like Tunic is just, I don't know. I don't see them doing something like that because it's just too much like Tunic, you know?
I think you almost have to though for new players coming into the game in this set.
We'll see.
It is a question. It is a question of we'll see what happens. Not wrong.
We have. Oh yeah, this is our last one. This is a pretty good one too. Dylan asks, with all the recent talk of teams this Pro Tour, what does it mean to you guys to be a team?
As in BDE team?
Well,
or just
I think
Legends
it's
team
even
in
more
general?
Legends team.
I think honestly it's just more us. Yeah, it's like not like. Yeah, Legends for sure. I wouldn't say we're a traditional team by any means. We're just like, I guess you hear this, like one of the underlying characteristics of these teams is that they're all friends. They all say like, look, we're just friends. We enjoy playing the game together. We enjoy testing. At first, I remember it was very much just casual for a lot of us, you know, when we were doing Blitz. And I would try to keep it casual. I wasn't bringing like overpowered cards, even though, I mean, I was making all the decks. Loved brewing. But at first, it was very much like anyone join the team. Anyone come and fucking be a part of this community. Mm-hmm. Everyone's going to help everyone. And it just kind of grew to be more of a competitive thing, you know, where we have 6 to 8 of us showing up to these RTNs and these Pro Quests as a shop, kind of, you know. But we don't like, we're not like on a deck. we're not making a deck and then the whole team is on the deck, right?
No.
It's nothing like that. Everyone
As
is
much
honestly.
as I would like for all of us to be on tech low.
I've tried so much, you guys. I've tried so much. And that's fine, and that's like actually good. Like the fact that you guys are even playing these things with me is like enough for me. Because at first, like, I mean, I remember going to them by myself at first, and then like slowly got Dylan to come, slowly got you guys to come, and it was like it started kind of at that skirmish level too, where we were going to the skirmishes and stuff, and like that was kind of our first really like feet wet in the competitive scene. And I mean, shit, we have shirts now. Dietz was talking to me the last time we saw him. He's like, God, you guys have fucking shirts now? It's like, I don't even have a fucking team. It's like,
hey, Dietz, join the team, brother.
It's open to everyone, dude.
Yeah.
I mean, if you play at Legends on main, where it's our LGS shout out, I mean, you can consider yourself part of the team.
Yeah.
We're very open and honest with each other. I'll try to help people with their sideboarding and stuff into these RTNs. We're not really testing much. Our testing is kind of done at our armory.
Yeah.
We will jam some games on Talishar with some of the guys.
That's the
week
beauty
before.
of our so-called team, as in Legends. We're not, like you said, we're not pushing a deck. We're trying to help everybody else's deck out. And we like the variance of playing all these different matchups because you get to play your deck into all these different matchups. Mm-hmm. And we can just kind of nitpick like what your deck's trying to do and what can help you and what can't.
Yep.
Yeah,
I think we always show up and everyone's on something different. I think it's been that way every time, I think, if I'm not mistaken. I think
rarely show up.
Nathan brought Katsu. And Dylan was on Katsu that day, but Nathan kind of showed up out of nowhere, if you remember. I don't think you were at that one, but that was like the only time I remember our team, like two of our players playing the same deck, which I don't think is like a recommended thing. You see a lot of like the top teams picking a deck and working on a list, and a big part of that too is like the competitive level. You're playing for thousands of dollars,
Yeah.
So like if we were actually doing that, I'm sure we could buckle down and get a little more serious with it. But I would like to think we get a little bit serious before RTNs and ProQuest. These next few weeks, I know I'll be jamming games on Talishar with the boys.
Yeah, it's not like we're all not Talisharing it up, playing our certain matchups that we need more experience into. No, we're not saying that, but it's nice having a variety of players at an armory in different heroes. It's not like we're all showing up and we're all just playing mirrors. Mm-hmm. Because that can get annoying, don't get me wrong. But I like how our team has gone.
Yeah.
The direction that we've always done. Play the best deck that you like the most. Mm-hmm. What you can play better than other teammates or players, and stick with it. And we'll help you along the way.
Yep. You got any last words on that one, Bailey?
I don't think so.
Cool. Yeah, I think that about does it.
Yeah. Well, we're recording on Sunday as well, so a little happy Easter shout out to everybody out there. I know it comes out on Wednesday, but since we're recording on Sunday, happy Easter. Hope all is well.
Yeah, it's been a good day.
Been a long process.
Next week, I know we're going to have one of our locals on who played at the PT. Shout out to Dylan Dietz. He's kind of one of our local, I would say one of our better players in the local area.
Juggernauts.
Juggernaut. That's a good one.
Yep.
Yeah. Always tough to take his ass down.
Yep. He's a good player.
I'm going to get him this season.
He's a good player. But why don't we check out here and say thank you guys for tuning in. We always appreciate the listens. If you've stayed this long, we appreciate it. We know this was kind of a shorter episode, but we try to stick out for as long as we possibly can.
It's over an hour. We've been going for
Yeah, it is. It's about. I think we're at about an hour and 15 right now. So
it's not bad.
No, not at all.
Pretty good for no news week.
Not at all.
A couple spoilers.
But to conclude on our episode, check out Star Wars Unlimited. Super fun game. Ty and I have been crushing a lot of games recently. Highly recommend it to anybody out there that likes TCGs. Don't forget to check out Legends on Main on TikTok. Buy all your needs there. We have the lives going on and the shops right there on the live, so you can check it out. But you can always join the Discord in the show notes. We always have the link there for you guys to join. You can send us an email at bigdeckenergycast@gmail.com.
Ooh.
Almost said it
We're
wrong.
almost slipped up this week.
Almost slipped up.
Josh.
But hey, it's midnight. We're getting there. But thank you guys again for tuning in, and we'll catch you next week with the guest Dylan Dietz. But as we always like to say, signing off. Peace.
See ya.
As always, it's a pleasure. Someone had to do it this week.
Yeah, you're right. You're right.